Good day traders, and welcome back to a new video. And as always, if you're new to the channel, a sub would be really appreciated. And if you enjoy the content, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and please let me know down in the comments below exactly what it is that you would like for me to cover in my next video. So this was a request that I got a few times, was to take a look at Eurgbp. So today I want to give you guys a full breakdown of the situation that we got on Eurgbp from an order flow, fundamental, sentiment, and technical perspective. Now, starting here on the monthly time frame from a technical perspective, we can see how the market is currently testing the strong level of support. Now, this level acted as support once, twice, and then again twice again. So we're at this level being tested about 4 times, and we can see how the market is testing that level again as well. And as we know, when it comes to the markets, history always repeats itself. So from this level, we could potentially get a pullback before the market continue lower. Now we can potentially get that pullback probably to that level before we see a continuation to the downside. And I'll explain to you all of the reasons why we could see the Euro GBP probably continue lower in the future as well. But we're retail traders, so we look for short-term opportunities. Now, here on the weekly time frame, what do we have? We can see on the weekly time frame how the market had broken about this most recent previous level. Not broken, but had broken and closed below, well, not closed yet, but had broken below this previous weekly support, and all of that support is now turned resistance there as well. So again, there's a good opportunity for a short-term buy here as well. So you're on the daily time frame, what do we have? So we can see on the daily time frame how the market printed this massive impulse. After an impulse, you expect a correction. Now the best way to measure that correction is by taking your Fibonacci there from the high to the low of the impulse. Now we can see how we could potentially get a 0.50 pullback to this level of support that is now turned resistance. So there is a good buying opportunity in the short term, but we could potentially get a sell-off in the long term there as well. Now, what we are going to look at is some order flow data. So the order flow data basically tells us what the big banks, hedge funds, and institutions are doing in the market. So the biggest speculators. So we can see a base of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. We can see a base of the last report how the euro, how hedge funds came and they added 2K long positions, or they added 2,000 buying positions, and they also closed minus 1.5k shorts. We can see how the overall net positions, went from minus 10k to minus 6k, which means there's a slight overall increase in net positions there as well. Now I can see how they did the same for the euro, for the GBP. They added so they added 2.2k longs, but they closed they closed minus 4.698k short positions there as well. And we can see the same thing here. The overall net positions had also decreased from 57k all the way to 50k, but we can see here we went from plus 14k to minus 50k. And if we look at here, you can see how we went from minus 22k to only minus 6k. So the euro in the short term, we can expect the euro to get stronger in the short term, but the overall, but in the long term, there's definitely a sell-off coming for the Euro GBP. Now, so looking at the fundamental data, so this is basically 4 of the interesting things that could potentially, that we need to focus on in the future, that's going to help us try and identify why we could potentially get a stronger pound against the euro. So why we could potentially see this sell-off happening in the future. Now I'm not going to go through all of these points, but there is a link. It is on FX Street, so if you do want to go and have a read through it, you're more than happy to do that. But the most important things that we need to look out for basically going into this new year would be the prospects of a supportive Bank of England. So basically what that means is, we know with the interest rates didn't go too well last year for the Bank of England. So interest rates for England is one thing that we need to take into consideration. Here it reads the backdrop of market still short for GBP in terms of positioning. The IMM data point to a continued large GBP short position in the market. So there's still, like I just said, now there's still there's still a weakness in the pound as it stands at the moment. Here it says risk reversal, skew still price for Eurgbp puts. And then the Brexit political outlook. This has been coming on for quite some time there as well. But the most important thing, as we all know, is the we've got the Omicron virus coming through as well. But again, we are retail traders, so we're not looking for, like, we're not hedge funds or that's going to run the market in the long term. But if you are looking for short term momentum, the best way is you can start, you can look for buys from where the market is now all the way to that level, and then see what kind of price action you do get around that level, because we could potentially see the market continue lower in the near future as well. Now, as always, if you enjoyed the video, please smash that like button, and as always, let me know down in the comments below exactly what it is that you would like for me to cover in my next video. And as always, cheers for years.